Well, welcome everybody, brave souls who made it out here today for a nice spring day in Webster, New York, for what is really an exciting ceremony, at least from my perspective. I'm Tom Flaherty. I'm the town supervisor, and I can tell you that this project has been going on for years. From a standpoint of when the town first obtained this land that Sandbar Park is on, going back almost 20 years ago. So this is kind of the end of the beginning of the plans for what this very unique piece of land is going to end up being in a couple of years. So without further ado, we have some very important dignitaries here today to mark this occasion. I'm going to hand the microphone off to the New York Secretary of State, Robert Rodriguez.
Thank you, Supervisor Flaherty, and it's really a pleasure to be with all of you. As was mentioned, I'm Secretary of State Robert Rodriguez, and here bringing greetings on behalf of Governor Hochul. And it's really that long-standing commitment from the governor to make sure that we are providing funds to help make our communities more resilient. I think what we saw here in 2019, with the flooding, was a wake-up call to be able to address the issues of climate change and make sure that places like here, the town of Webster, are more resilient now and in the future. And really it's a collaboration amongst a variety of different agencies to help make sure that we make the critical investment of $2.5 million to begin to address what we know is going to be a long-term issue around Lake Ontario. So I have to give thanks, of course, not to the governor and the READY program, but also to my partners in government and the different agencies that are involved here. One of the things that I love about being here is certainly meeting the people, but also learning more about the town and the town's motto, where life is worth living. One of the things that we know is that it's worth living when we have a vibrant shoreline, when we have access to recreation and park, and when we know that it's something that's going to be there in the future for our children and for our community to enjoy later on. So it's through our commitment at the Department of State and through our program, the local waterfront revitalization program, that we're able to make and help support this investment of $2.5 million. So I just want to thank you all for being here. We look forward to breaking ground and a few years later being able to enjoy what we know is going to be a tremendous investment to making sure that the town of Webster continues to enjoy Sandbar Park now and in the future. Thank you, and with that, I'll turn it over to my partner, Chris Reed.
Thank you, everyone, for coming today. It's great to see the wonderful turnout. As a resident of Webster, this place has a special place for me in particular. But first, I want to thank again Supervisor Secretary Rodriguez and Adam Bellow for being here to recognize this important event. Lake Road is vital to the residents that live here in Webster, in our community, for access to Lake Ontario, Irondequoit Bay, and of course Sandbar Park, why we're here today. Today we announced the start of construction to ensure that the residents and visitors continue to have access to Lake Road and the transformed Sandbar Park, and it will be transformed, vastly different. With nearly $2.5 million of ready investment, we are beginning three important projects. First, $1.5 million to realign and raise Lake Road to mitigate any flooding and add drainage, so it's passable even during high water events. Approximately $750,000 to implement a living shoreline stabilization, as well as installing a flood wall, again, to mitigate future flooding and any ramifications of high water. And finally, $250,000 to install protective walls around the pump station you see behind you to reduce any chances of damage to the electrical and mechanical systems. So those three projects are the hallmark of the READY collaboration. We would not be here to announce this project without collaboration between Governor Hochul, her team, the entire READY team, Empire State Development, many different state agencies, including Department of State, the Department of Transportation, the Department of Environmental Conservation, Department of Parks, the list is long, the county executive and his team, of course, and the town as well. All great partners, and it really stands a testament to the READY program and the collaboration between state agencies and local governments to make investments in resiliency for our communities. Thank you again for joining us here today. We are all excited to see these improvements and the transformed Sandbar Park at the end of this year when it's complete. So again, thank you for coming, and I'd like to introduce Adam Bellow, County Executive.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you. It's great to be with all of you here today. We just love this lake behind us. I'm going to tell you one thing, though. It isn't this cold downtown, so the lake really is transformative in so many different ways. But I want to thank you for inviting us to be here today. I want to recognize one of my partners in county government, County Legislator Mark Johns is with us here as well today. Mark was actually in the state legislature when this funding was approved to help us do these READY projects and get these things done. So thank you, Mark, for your service in the state and also here in the county. And I want to thank Secretary Rodriguez for being with us here today in Rochester. It was just a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we saw each other in Albany and talked about all the great work that's going on in Rochester and getting him here to see all the shovels that are going in the ground and how it's really going to impact so many communities that we have, particularly here along the lakeshore. So thank you, Secretary, for being here. And I also want to thank Governor Hochul for her commitment here to our county and our community. This lake is very special for residents who live along the lake, those who are doing business, and of course for recreational purposes. And obviously with what happened with our flooding that we had so many years ago in 2017, 2019, I say so many years ago, it really wasn't that long ago. And the financial impact that had on so many of our residents, businesses, and of course those who come to enjoy the lake. We cannot let that happen again. And we just, when it comes to the infrastructure projects that we have here, we have such an opportunity to shore up this lake shore to make sure that we don't face that financial loss again when the lake levels will rise, because we know they happened once, it happened twice, it's going to happen again. So we want those who are affected by flooding to know that help is here because of this great partnership that we have. And one thing that's very exciting too is if you see on that list, on the sign over there, you see so many different community partners that are part of making this project a reality. And that's what's so special, but also what's so necessary about our community. Whatever challenges that we face, right? Whether it's health or economics or now we're looking at infrastructure projects. No one group can do it by itself. It takes everybody working together, rowing in the same direction. And that's what makes this project really so special, because of all the different partners who are part of making such a difference in our community and in the resiliency of this area. So thank you again to the state of New York, the town of Webster, for hosting us here today, and for your partnership as well, Tom. And let's go break some ground.